President Donald Trump has been actively battling with the rest of the world over trade. Even America's friends, allies, and trade partners are not spared. And that includes major players such as Canada, Japan, the EU, Mexico, and China. Mr. Trump made it to all that he believes trade wars would be the correct way to make America great again. But it's looking more and more like he's making America alone again. Let's see why. Are trade wars really good and easy to win? Actually, no. Nobody wins in any trade war. The US think tank Brookings Institution predicted the bleak prospect of a possible trade war scenario. A teeny-weeny global trade war where tariffs rise by 10% will reduce GDP of most countries between 1 and 4.5%, with the United States losing 1.3% of GDP. However, a 40% change in tariffs would trigger an abysmal global recession. An eye for an eye. Facing Washington's protectionist whims, the affected countries would finally resort to retaliation. Based on foreign government statements promising action against America, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has found that U.S. exports will face billions of dollars in retaliatory tariffs. We call this spitting against the wind. So, does restricting free trade put the American workers first? The answer is quite the opposite. Historically, each American family saves $850 per year from buying Chinese products. With Trump's bizarre tariffs, those savings would now evaporate. American consumers will now either have to pay more or buy less. Already, the U.S. manufacturers and industry associations have cried out against the steep tariffs initiated by the Trump administration. Last week, iconic U.S. motorcycle manufacturer Harley-Davidson announced that it would move some of its production out of its own country to avoid the newly enacted tit-for-tat EU tariffs on imports from the United States. In terms of the affected Chinese goods, industry insiders cautioned against 1 million American jobs at risk and self-inflicted heavy losses. President Trump thinks we don't buy, you lose. Unfortunately, it's a misconception of U.S. national interest. Is the WTO really unfair to the United States? Let's see what Washington has recently done to the WTO. The Trump administration has drafted a bill that will abandon the U.S. commitment to the WTO rules. The bill would, in essence, allow the president to raise tariffs above and beyond its ceiling, agreed by WTO countries, and set different rates for individual nations outside of free trade agreements, just to sidestep international rules for its own good indeed. The reality is, the United States has benefited most from the rule-based WTO trading system, which now covers over 98% of the global trade. Statistics indicate that the WTO system actually favors the US and EU exporters. On a normal day, most U.S. job losses resulted from changes in technology or efficiency, according to documented studies. Washington's elite should be mindful that the disregarding of trade rules and willful misrepresentations could not only boomerang badly on the U.S. economy, but also set back the prospect of a prosperous world. As I said before, try not to spit against the wind.